Hello and welcome back to the unit tutorial for Geography Year 4, Unit 1, Amazon, Rivers and Rainforests, and this is video part 2. This video will walk you through the following areas: how to adapt activities and lessons, how to plan for the inquiry question, and key moments within the unit to look out for. Adapting activities can be easily done by using the ebook workbook and the snipping tool to paste the activity onto a Word or Publisher document and edit it. From there, you can print it and stick the adapted activity into your exercise book or directly over the workbook original activity. You may be familiar with the snip tool, but it can be found by searching in the search bar or simultaneously pressing Windows, Shift and S. Drag your mouse to highlight the area you want to copy, and that selection of your screen can be copied onto your clipboard and then onto your Word or Publisher document. I'm now going to run through the activities in the workbook from lesson 1 to 10 and give suggestions on how you may adapt them. You don't have to use my examples or even adapt at all, but these are suggestions for ways in which you could. To support pupils in lesson 1, you could add in a matching line as an example. You could highlight the keywords in the description. You could talk through each description with an additional adult if possible. And for a high level of support, add in dotted lines for pupils to trace. Do this for one or for all. You could also give pupils a map with the features highlighted clearly. You could also give pupils a list of the physical feature names and give pupils a starting letter for some or for all labels. Stretch pupils by asking them which climate zone they'd like to visit and why. In lesson 2, support pupils by giving them multiple choice options as answers, by highlighting the keywords in the questions and text, and by adding examples into the table. You could also add names to the map and add corresponding colours to the table. Stretch pupils by asking them to answer questions like, which export do you think is most important and why? Support pupils in lesson 3, you can highlight the key information in the text and print the corresponding slide off so the text is larger for pupils to read. You could also have the atlas page ready in advance or copy with the key information highlighted. For the activity, you could add examples to the table and create labels so pupils can stick in instead of write. Stretch pupils by asking questions such as, which country do you think has the largest rainforest and how do you know? To support pupils in lesson 4, you could simply highlight the key information in the text or direct pupils to certain points of the text by matching the highlight colour of the keywords in the question to the keywords in the text. You could also print the corresponding slide off so the text is larger for pupils to read. For the questions, you could give multiple choice options for answers. And stretch pupils by asking them to answer questions such as, why is the forest floor dark and damp? To support activities in lesson 5, again, you could highlight the key information in the text and the question. You could offer multiple choice answers. You could create information labels for pupils to cut out and stick into the correct place. And you could create information sheets on each animal with information clearly written out. Stretch pupils by showing a different animal from the Amazon rainforest, such as the red-eyed tree frog, and ask pupils to answer questions such as, how has this frog adapted well to living in the rainforest? Support pupils in lesson 6 by highlighting the key information in the text and question, by offering multiple choice answers, and by creating similarities and difference labels for pupils to read and stick into correct sections. You could also turn these sections into boxes rather than line spaces, so pupils aren't overwhelmed by the prospect of filling all the lines with writing, like so. pupils to answer challenge questions such as, would you like to live like the Yanomami tribe and why? Why not? In Lesson 7, support pupils by highlighting key information in the text and the question, by highlighting the key words in the question with corresponding colour from the pie chart, by reducing the multiple choice options, and stretch pupils to ask them to answer questions such as, can you explain in 2 sentences what deforestation is and why it happens? In Lesson 8, support pupils by highlighting key information in the text and having the Atlas page ready with key information highlighted if you've copied it. You could also create labels to be stuck in instead of written, and you could also pre-populate some of these labels. Alternatively, you could add the starting letter for some or all of the labels. Stretch pupils by asking them to answer questions such as, are rivers important and why? In Lesson 9, again, you can highlight key information in the text to support pupils, and you can print definitions that can be sorted out and stuck in. You could add boxes for where the label should go on the image, and you could add a list of keyword labels to be added. You could also add a sentence starter. Stretch pupils by asking them questions such as, why are rivers bendy? In the final lesson for this unit, Lesson 10, support pupils by printing the reading text on the slides so pupils have it in front of them to complete this activity, and highlighting the key information in that text. You can also create labels using the answer slides that can be cut out, sorted and stuck in. You could also have an information sheet ready about a river in your local area for pupils to use. You could change the lines on the right task to a table with similarities, differences can be listed. Stretch pupils by asking them to answer questions such as, what sort of animals can you find around the river in your area? Once pupils have completed Lesson 10, they now need to answer the inquiry question. Remember, Lesson 10 is only approximately 1 hour long to accommodate for this. The inquiry question for this unit is, what is the Amazon? Why is it significant? And should it be protected? To support teachers with implementing the inquiry question, we have created an inquiry question support document, and here you can find the information you will need and an additional activity for pupils to complete. This could support them as a planning activity, be a recap of the entire unit knowledge to refresh memories before the assessment, or be edited into the assessment itself. The inquiry question support document for this unit can be found with the other resources on Oxford OWL. Your inquiry question could be answered as an extended write, a poster, a presentation, a question paper, a multiple choice quiz, or whatever best suits your class. For every unit, there are elements that will need to be planned in advance by the class teacher. You'll need to print the knowledge quiz booklet for pupils and plan where you'll keep them between lessons. This could be in a pile with you or slipped into the front of the workbooks. You'll need to plan an engaging hook, how you get pupils interested and engaged in the learning to come. You could take them on a trip, on a bus journey, or make some art. You'll need to print off any additional resources per lesson, and not every single lesson may have an additional resource, so make sure you check before you teach. And you'll need to gather resources for specific lessons by reading through the unit planning guide. Hopefully, you now feel confident about accessing and teaching this unit. Any questions, please send to primarymastery@artcurriculumplus.org.uk, and we welcome all feedback to ensure that these resources are as supportive as possible for you and your pupils.